Donald Trump's latest apartment project. Joining me now is Tara Dowdell, a business and political marketing consultant, Nick Ackerman, a former Watergate prosecutor, Barbara Rez, former executive vice president of the Trump Organization, and David Korn, Mother Jones Washington bureau chief. And David, I'm going to go to you first because the feeling that I guess I have is that Donald Trump managed to convince so many voters that he was successful, and that is a large part of the reason that he was able to win, because people really believed that he was an economic success. Now that that has been punctured, what do you think the real-world consequences will be?
Well, you know, we used to look at kids in America and they would say, when I grow up, I want to be president. Now they're going to say, when I grow up, I want to lose $1 billion. I tend to think that there won't be much political cost for Trump for this. I think his base, his followers, have this sort of cult-like devotion to him, and they look at him and say, hey, this guy lost $1 billion and he's still got a jet. He's still got to, you know, do whatever he wanted in his personal life. He's still got to be president. I think they are just so enamored with the idea of a con man, a cheat, whatever, getting their way, and perhaps a way they'd like to live their own lives, perhaps.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to re-examine their affection and their dedication to this guy. In fact, as he likes to say, it just shows how smart I am. I lost $1 billion, I didn't pay taxes, and look where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, Barbara, you worked for this man. Were the signs evident? What years did you work for him?
I worked on the high in 78, but I started with Trump in 80, I believe it was.
Yeah. And so once his empire began to crumble and he started to lose money, but he was still on TV, still getting interviewed by Larry King, still being mentioned in the tabloids. Internally in the organization, could people tell that he was failing?
Initially, well, first of all, he wasn't failing initially. I mean, you look at the 85, 86, 87 tax returns, those are typical write-offs. I mean, he was printing money practically from Trump Tower and the Hyatt. And even his casinos initially were successful. But the excess, he just went off the rails, and that's when he started. And I think we sort of knew about it in about 90 or so when things with the casinos really started.
And was there confidence in his leadership skills among the people who worked for him? Did they think he was an intelligent, smart businessman, or did they think he was lucky and had a rich dad?
You know, that's very interesting comparison, because it was kind of both. I mean, definitely there was no question about it. He was lucky and had a rich dad, and that's how he got started, and that's you know why he did so well. But he had certain instincts and things like that were good and applicable to the kind of businesses he was in. But the interesting and important thing is that around 88, 89, 90, that's when he stopped listening to anyone. And as soon as that happens, no matter how good you are, if you don't have advice, you're going to fall apart. And so that's where the beginning of the end for him.
And you know, Tara, in a lot of ways, Mark Burnett created Donald Trump, made him president, because he took this guy that by the time Mark Burnett met him, financially he was a bum. Right. But